Welcome guys to this video that's gonna be about the new update that just hit the test server, and it's gonna be there for about 3 days before it hits live servers. So this is a patch that is gonna be about Sanhok, the jungle map mainly, but it's also gonna implement a new weapon that's gonna be Sanhok exclusive. And we're gonna have some performance improvements, we're gonna have a UI update, and we're gonna have some minor things that we're also gonna be talking about. So I'm gonna make this video a bit quicker than I've done before, so let's get into it. First of all, Sanhok, they've done some really cool things here that I just want to highlight here. One of the things here is the performance, and vehicles and players are going to be rendered in a different way on Sanhok, which is going to result in some server performance improvements. Much welcomed, I like it. We're still going to have the dynamic weather, which is really cool, but there are two things I especially like about Sanhok. One of them is that the red zone is smaller and lasts for a short amount of time, plus it's going to appear outside the white circle, making you less likely to get hit inside the circle, and you're going to be more at risk when being outside of the circle. The blue zone also has a shorter waiting time and will travel for a longer time, basically making you able to run from the circle at any time. And the blue zone is also dynamic, meaning that if there are few players left on the map, the zone will move more often and quicker. They've also added more weapons compared to last time we tried. We're gonna have about 5% more weapons on this map, which is really cool. I mean, I love dropping down here and just finding a lot of weapons and start fighting. The 8x and 15x scope will not spawn, however, they may be still obtained from care packages. And right here we have some really cool screenshots about Sanhok, and I'll just briefly bring them up for you on the screen here. And the first one here is the cave. I mean, this is a pretty cool spot. You can parachute down in this big hole here and loot down here. From my experience though, it looks cool, but the loot is pretty bad compared to other places. The ruins, formerly known as the Swamp Temple, also looks beautiful, but is this place in 3 stories, and it's really difficult to hear where your enemies are, especially because of the elevation here, but overall a really cool place to fight and a lot of loot. Then we got Paradise Resort. This place might be my favorite place to drop, and not only does it look great, but it also has great loot and is overall a really cool place to fight. Then we got Training Center right in the middle of the map, and this place is sort of like the school of this map, and it's a really cool place to fight and definitely also extremely challenging with a bunch of loot. We also got Quarry here, and my experience here is very limited. I mean, it looks great, but I'm not so sure about the loot nor how a combat would actually be here, but yeah, like I said, it looks pretty cool. And then we got the docks, a bit out of the way drop here, but there's a lot of loot to get here, especially on the ships that you can board here, so it's a pretty cool place too. And this is also some of the cool things here they did. They have now paved some of the roads with concrete, and we got these campers and vehicles blocking the road as well, so you can't just blast through there with super high speed, and if you do, you might crash into some of these vehicles here. And we've also got a performance improvement here to the servers that just might reduce desync, because this is going to optimize how the server handles many objects nearby, which is going to be the character models, vehicles, and weapons. Since we do have the PUBG Global Invitational, the PGI, starting in just a few days, we are going to see a few advertisements for this in the game. The most pronounced one is probably going to be that your parachute is now going to look like this. And this is only going to be something that is going to be active for the duration of the advertisement period. We've also got a new weapon to Sanhok. Now, this was mentioned sometime before, but this is the first time we actually see what weapon it is. This is going to be the QBZ-95, which is going to be an assault rifle that uses 5.56 ammo and can hold about 30 rounds per magazine, extended to 40. This is going to replace the Scar L, and the Scar L can no longer be found on Sanhok then, and it's going to have about 40% higher chance to spawn compared to the Scar L. Regarding gameplay, they've added smoother interpolation for the cone of dispersion radius when changing states or moving around. This means that when transitioning into a different aiming or positional state, the updated dispersion radius modifier will no longer be applied instantaneously. I have no idea what that means. But when you win a game, you will now have 8 seconds to celebrate before the match ends. I mean, this is a small thing, but it's actually kind of cool. Like, you can throw your emotes, you can jump around with your buddies, yell in the comms, and, you know, say good game and all that stuff. I mean, that's pretty cool. Now, regarding the UI here, the first thing is a highly discussed topic, map selection. You're no longer going to be able to choose between Miramar and Erangel. You'll have to pick either those two or Sanhok. They're going to make it more into the size of the map you select rather than the actual map. My opinion on this is that honestly, I really don't mind. I mean, I see this more as an improvement rather than a step back, because now more people will be able to play. Because this is exactly why they did this. We're gonna have less queues, meaning that those people that had to wait for an eternity to get inside a game, they're now gonna be able to find a game much quicker. And it's not gonna affect me, but it's gonna help other people. So, I mean, sure. The UI also received a bunch of updates. I'm just going to read these up for you guys. The friend list UI has been updated. Leaderboard and replay UI has been improved. Pop-ups in the lobby and game sessions have now been visually enhanced. Pop-up windows showing matchmakings and status has been improved. And in-game UI elements such as the inventory, map, and results window have now been improved. They've also improved the minimap here, and it's now gonna zoom out when you move quickly and zoom back in when you move slower. This is gonna make the minimap useful for navigation when you move quickly on a bike or in another vehicle, which is very welcome since crashing into stuff in PUBG can be quite deadly. They've also added a few things to make it easier to see where the blue zone is and how it's moving. They've added this thing over the map that's gonna be a bit better than the older UI, and they've also made it so when you look at the map, the zone that is now in the blue zone is now gonna be colored blue. A final thing in the UI here is that they've added a universal scope sensitivity setting, meaning that you can change all your scope sensitivity using a single setting. This is going to reduce the complexity for many and it's going to make it much more easy to control your sensitivity. However, I like having it for the different scopes, but I mean, I'm open to trying this. I mean, let's see how it goes. Finally, some minor things here. You can now fully customize the color of your crosshair, and the loading screen has now been modified to display game-related tips. Regarding the sounds, we got some really cool stuff here. The plane engine sounds is going to be lower, and a lot of the water sounds are going to be lower. The splashing and the bodies in the water is going to be lower, and the weapon sounds have been remastered for better quality. And the weapon sounds is a really interesting thing, because this might mean that it's going to be easier to hear how far away the weapons being fired are. Again, this is something that I will have to test in the game, but it's definitely interesting. And finally, a big complaint point for many on Sanhok, the plane is now going to make less noise overall. The max volume of the plane is going to remain the same, however, the plane is going to be at that max volume for a short amount of time, making it overall less noisy. Gonna skip over the crate thing here and go directly to effects, because the effect part is really interesting, because they've improved the visual effects when a bullet strikes ground or water. This might make it easier to see where the bullet came from when you get shot at by a suppressor, for instance. I use the bullet impacts myself to determine where the shot came from, but this might make it even easier. And they've also improved the effect when you throw something into the water. Regarding the bugs, I don't see that many super interesting things here, but I do see a very annoying thing here, that when you were exiting a vehicle and you had a pistol, when you went ADS, the recoil would be completely messed up. That should now be fixed. And for me as a content creator, the replay is now also going to be better, because the weapon will no longer disappear in some situations. But overall, I'm missing some of the critical bugs, like the zeroing bug with the red dot and the 8x scope, and the red dot that changes reticle when you swap around, and the ADS bug, and much more. So some of these high profile bugs are no longer fixed, and I really hope we're gonna see some fixes to them soon. Now that's all I had for you guys in this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh my god, it hit the vehicle and the vehicle hit him. Did you see that? That's how you kill people, guys. That was good. Amazing.